11, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. Does he stand by his statement, quote, "We still have much to do to improve New Zealand's economic growth and to support higher incomes across the board"?
Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, yes I do, because the first stage of government action was to undo the damage done by the previous government, including home mortgage interest rates at nearly 11%, a current account deficit of 8% and house prices that had more than doubled in 9 years. Having undone a fair bit of that damage, there is much to do to build our future capacity to deliver higher incomes to households.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Speaker, in light of the fact that 2/3 of wage and salary earners earn less than the average wage, and that the average wage has increased in real terms over the last 5 years at less than half the rate it increased under the Labour-led government, and that incomes for the bottom half of all earners have either stayed the same or gone backwards, what exactly will his government do to lift higher incomes across the board? Are you sensitive about that?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, in the first place, the facts do not back up the member's assertion that the incomes at the lower end have fallen further behind. It's simply not the case. The process set up by the previous government to measure income inequality shows that despite a recession, over recent years it's been flat, not declining. With respect to the government's plans, we intend to persist with a comprehensive strategy to raise educational achievement so that every young New Zealander gets a decent start in the workforce, continue to fine-tune the skills system, which was very wasteful under the previous government but is now starting to produce some real benefit for young New Zealanders, continue to negotiate free trade agreements with more of the world's faster-growing economies so we can sell more to the rest of the world at higher prices, and continue to reform government itself so that we deliver more benefit and more value to those who are very dependent on government for their standard of living.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
What specifically will he do to ensure that the nearly 50% productivity improvement achieved by New Zealand workers since 1992 will be fully shared with them rather than the 14% to date that has gone to wages?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, I couldn't confirm whether the members' figures are actually correct. There is a bit of a challenge in that there's a worldwide phenomenon where the benefits of productivity have the proportion of where the benefits lie has changed, particularly since the GFC. We don't know all the answers to that puzzle, actually. In the first place in New Zealand, we need to raise our productivity levels so that we're working out how to divide a larger cake. In fact, that is the government's top priority, because whatever the proportions are between wages and capital, the larger the pie is, the more the workers are going to get.
Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
In light of his government's employment legislation currently before the House, allowing employers to peremptorily walk away from collective bargaining and to abolish the application of collective agreements to new employees, and his claim in 2011 that low wages are an advantage for New Zealand, does he now accept that his claim of an increase in incomes of $7,500 over the next 4 years is just deceitful and cynical?
Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, I certainly don't agree with that. I mean, I made the same claim a similar claim about increases in the average wage over the last few years, and that is actually the basis on which this Parliament decided that New Zealanders over the age of 65 should get their national superannuation, and I don't think the Parliament was being deceitful when it used the average wage as a measure of incomes in New Zealand appropriate to apply to every single New Zealander over the age of 65. Where I think we differ is that the member believes collective bargaining is the only way workers can get wage increases, In fact, collective bargaining only applies to quite a small proportion of the workforce, and the rest of them are getting significant wage increases in any case, and we'd like to see them get more.
Question number 12, Dr Paul Hutchison.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Health.